Can I answer that one? Just a combination of both the questions, really. So, I mean, I'm 26, so I left care a long time ago, and I didn't have a great experience. But I'm reflecting differently now. I think some of the issues with schools and with foster care is around information sharing. A child spends a third of his life at school, a third of his life in care, but our system's set up to give those people the least amount of information about the child. For several reasons around need-to-know basis. Do the schools need to know the details about the child as the foster carer? And those two don't communicate with each other as well as they could. So what you tend to get is the young people are misunderstood at school on their behaviour because they're reacting to trauma in their lives or difficult experiences which schools don't understand and see as bad behaviour. Conor mentioned taxis. I think taxis has got a deeper issue that we've removed independence from young people. The amount of stories I hear of care leavers leaving care, waiting for a taxi to work, and then not understanding why their employer's not sent a taxi. Our system that's meant to give young people independence is unintentionally taking it with things like taxis because we're not allowing them to get buses. Looked after children's reviews as well in schools. They're mainly put in schools. Foster carers are usually scared to have parents at, not all foster carers, but a lot of carers don't want children's parents at their homes, so looked after reviews done in schools. And like Conor said, someone comes into your class, knocks on your door and says your social worker's here, and you've got to walk out. So that is it's pure isolation. As well, when young people misbehave at school around things sort of like that I would deem as child appropriate behaviour, we will review the child's behaviour in a looks after children's review. So if 6 people at school are smoking a bit of cannabis or something, the four children that aren't in care get grounded. The 2 that are in have an intervention meeting with a drugs worker and a police officer, which might be needed in some scenarios, but not in all cases. And as well, the designated teacher in school is the person that should know which all looked after children are. And again, is the person that spends the least amount of time. And being a head teacher, you'll know the head teacher should know, but there's more work that needs to be done in school with everybody around trusting that institution to be able to understand young people's experiences so that they can provide a better environment for them. So I don't blame schools for it. I think our system needs to improve to share information and trust these organisations better so that young people can feel more comfortable in those institutions.
Yeah, that's really useful. So you're talking about the culture of the school.
Yeah.
You know, it's about the ethos and the culture is really important.
Yeah, there's also, I mean, we create policies which they interpret and that becomes their culture. So we need to change policy around information sharing for a start and how we write things, you know, to say the amount of referrals that I've seen where it'll say something around the young person. I'll give you my experience. I had on my referral several things. One of them was I was high risk of absconding, and the other one that I was done for burglary and affray. My high risk of absconding was because I left the street when I was told not to, so I got reported missing, and I was never missing. I was just at the skate park, and the burglary and affray was stealing out-of-date beer out of my dad's shed, and he beat me up in the street, and I got done for it. But when those things go on your referral, I then got so many barriers to opportunities because the information of my behaviour was misrepresented. So there's something around how we record information based on young people's experiences that is more authentic and has the young person at the heart of it, so that we're not unintentionally creating barriers, we're using the referral as a passport, if anything.
Yeah, that's really helpful. And Rachel, you mentioned your nurture group as well. And you would recommend that
definitely, because then it helps you to meet other young people and children who are maybe in the same situation as you are, have same behavioural problems as you, and you can connect with them or you can connect with the teachers, and it's like a breakaway from school, because sometimes you can be a bit overwhelmed within school and you just want to get out and be somewhere in a different environment, and that I found that quite helpful, because you'd have your days where you're just a bit, I'm not feeling it today, and then you don't want to go home. You can just go to nurture and chill with them, and they can talk to you, and they care about what's going on in your life, kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Conor, is there anything that you want to share? Your tips? Yeah.
Can I also add, linking on to what you said about like a teacher knowing that the child is in care. I noticed in high school quite a lot of teachers knew that I was in foster care. And I appreciated it because then a lot of teachers gave me support. But at the same time, I felt it was a bit too much because too many teachers would be coming up to me like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'd be like, can you not? Because I want to have my own privacy, and I don't want to always know that I'm the foster child and everyone knows I'm the foster child. I kind of want to just be like everyone else, treat me like everyone else. Because some teachers don't know how to manage the whole you're in foster care thing. And the teachers that don't, they give off a really bad vibe towards me, and I feel like, oh my gosh, I actually am in care. and it's not nice.
So I'll go back to my earlier point. It's about fundamentally the ethos of a school, in that if it's inclusive, it doesn't matter whether an individual is in foster care or not, because each child is an individual and each child is special. And you know, that's the important thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
there's all sorts of work going on at the moment around attachment aware schools, because I agree with that. Some young people don't want to. When I was in care, I wanted to hide away. I didn't want anyone to know. But it's about the teachers having the capacity and the confidence in themselves to be able to communicate with any young person that's in front of them. That's how I see it, and again, the vibe that they give off is their anxiety about, usually about causing further harm. Because what do I say to a young person that's in care because I've not had those experiences? So they become all flustered within it, and that flustering then gets misinterpreted by young people because they're just thinking, I feel differently because that person doesn't have the confidence or capacity in themselves or the self-belief to communicate with young people that have been through trauma.
I'm going to move, unless you've got a burning one, I want to
Could
move
I just
last
ask,
one.
do you think the curriculum could help with that? I mean,
As
you
in,
talked about the ethos, but you know, what...
Yeah, well...
You know, if you think about, you know, what you're actually learning and how you learn and relationships and, you know, have you got any comments about the actual
absolutely.
curriculum?
I mean, I teach enterprise skills, so my career has been built on social enterprise. So I'm quite biased towards that, only because a lot of young people that have been through care are really resourceful. They know how to survive. They know how they can work things out. They can work our system out very quickly. We call young people manipulators, and to me it's like, well, they understand the system and how to work it. So there's something around that skill that we don't see as a resource or as something that we could tap into. I think asking young people to be able to focus on a curriculum which is around memorising information and doing exams and sitting still for 2 hours is very difficult when you're experiencing trauma and you've got a lot of mental health issues, which is something that we don't focus on enough within schools. Because to me, if a young person's struggling with mental health and having to concentrate on school at the same time, that is going to become a lot more difficult.